evening. We've made it to another week of Dilem-Monday. It has been a wild last week. Um, Tons of stuff going on, and I figured to start off this wild, post week of last week. Let's have some fun and wild people. So, Dmitri, Antos, thank you for joining us this evening.
Cheers from the Great White North.
There we go. I'll even put a cheer with my hot tea.
At least it's not water, but yeah. So much going on, so much just happening. I'm still recovering, I think, from like the weekend prior to that. Try moving in a little bit.
Oh yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah. Very strange. I love how this happens just as we're starting.
Yeah, where did you guys go after the NAMM show? Did you
so we ended up going to Newport Beach for a few days.
Okay.
And
I had definitely out of focus.
Sir. Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I don't know.
Cover it with your thumb for like a second.
1, 2, 3, 4. Is that better?
No, not really. Usually works.
Maybe it could be a fingerprint. Could be a fingerprint on the lens. Just do like a little rub off it.
It was working perfectly before we started. So,
gotta love when that happens.
They'll hear my voice. They won't see my face that good, which is probably better off for everybody. But we usually fly into LAX when we go into NAMM, just because of the prices and whatnot. But the John Wayne Airport, Orange County, was no more money than LAX. And so we just decided to go right in there. And obviously, when the weather was so horrible and we were no way going to be able to get home, we went over to that area to just stay. And Newport Beach is beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'd never been there before, so it was kind of cool to actually be able to check that out. But you guys did something else afterwards too, right? Didn't you?
Yeah, we went to Mexico for a week.
Nice. What part of Mexico?
We went to Cancun, stayed at the Haven Riviera Resort. It was great. Beautiful resort.
One of those all-inclusive deals?
Yeah, food was great. Everything was great. The only thing was the weather didn't really behave itself. It is what it is, you go on vacation to a place you hope for sun, and we had mixed results. So there were a couple of days. We got a couple of days of rain while we were there, so that was a bummer. But overall, we had a really good time, and it was nice to just decompress and.
Well, how many days do you guys go early for like the NAMM show?
Well, it depends on. Typically, the day. I mean, in past years, the NAMM shows run sometimes 4 days. Usually, like Thursday, Friday, or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and at least last year. So we would arrive earlier, like around Monday, typically. Sometimes Tuesday, depending on the complexity of the booth. In this case, Nate, who's the president and business partner, he came down early, and we had our booth and a good majority of our stuff in storage locker down there, so we cleared that out and did the internal load in and everything. He did the load in early, and I didn't arrive until like Tuesday, I want to say. So, and by that time we already had things going on. We had people flying in from other countries to go in and record with Lee at a studio in Long Beach. Had a lot of things going on, so we didn't. We were just deep in it from as soon as I touched down. My wife and I were, running around like crazy.
So you guys actually store that booth because it's similar every year, but you just design it differently because you guys have the coolest booth every single year.
Okay. I appreciate that. Well, in some regards, yes. Like we did this last year just because we had the ability, kind of got messed around by the storage facility. They like promised us they wouldn't raise the rates on us, and then we went for a year in advance and all of that, and then they tried to like change the rates like mid-year and like raise the rate or double the rate, I want to say, and it was a big fight to get them to like like honor their agreement,
contract.
yeah, all that BS. So we checked out of the hotel, so to speak. We won't be dealing with that anymore. In this case, like we had a multi-part faceted booth. It's become very clear that they keep sticking because we're associated with our main U.S. distributor, KMC Music, and so we kind of like want to stay around where they are.
Right.
They also have Rhythm Tech, and they're a drum company and percussion. So we're also kind of ended up getting lumped in with sort of on the percussion side of the trade show booth, convention center, and that it just can get really, really, really loud in there. Yes. And so we're paying for an extra 10 by 10 foot space to have as a meeting room, so to speak, to meet with our distributors, and it's so loud in there. I'm sitting 2 feet away from someone, and we both have decent, projection, and we can't hear what the other person's saying. And so we're basically speaking 2 different languages. And there was like a situation where Nate is sitting between me and the other guy I'm talking to, and he's saying, oh well, we can't do this thing because of this reason. And I'm on the other side suggesting, well, how about we do the thing that you can't do? And we're like completely, totally diametrically opposed on our viewpoints and not having a proper conversation. So that was really frustrating. And we came out of that where there was another meeting we had where we just had to leave. We had to physically walk out of
you had to go to the whole outside.
And as you know, you go right outside the building, and it's the smoking section is like right there. And they just let everybody, smoke right there. So we had no recourse really right there, but to just, hold a meeting in the smoking section. It's ridiculous. We're spending thousands and thousands of dollars to have a presence there and not be able to have proper distributor meetings. It's really frustrating. So there were some other issues that we had, but I don't want to get too in depth into it, politics, etc.
Right. But it was interesting in KMC this year. They were kind of spread out a little bit differently in the past, and I was going to ask you about why they positioned you over there, but you kind of gave the Rhythm Tech, because the year before you were closer to the front. Like I thought you had a much better spot last year. I thought your the way you designed your booth though this year, I thought was fantastic. Like I loved the whole back of it where you had all those
garage.
Yeah, it was in the garage going through the alley. We were hoping
the newsstand.
Yeah, the newsstand. It came out really well.
Sick.
It was a lot of work.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it would have been great if we. Unfortunately, on that side, we only had a 10-foot gap between our booth and the adjoining booth, so it ended up really being an alleyway, and you didn't get really as much of a chance to really see some of that. But
when is that position like determined though? Like you said, the year before you had a much better spot.
Yeah.
Previous years though, you were over kind of by that section where you were this year. So how do you? And I understand you want to be closer to your largest distributorship, which is KMC. Yeah. So obviously they have to make. So you're basically you're at their mercy per se. Or you have kind of been.
I mean, we have autonomy, of course, but like we want to be there in the mix because it not only projects the family of companies that we are associate with, but also it allows for easier access for our sales reps and whatnot to come and make connections if they need to, and come bring people by who don't stock our product, show off and talk about the product. Come meet Lee or one of us, and we can talk to them about it, and then leave with a better understanding of what Lee Oskar Harmonicas is all about and what our new product offerings, that kind of thing.
You guys had a terrific year. From when I talked to Nate the other day, and I said, "Oh my goodness, I had such a hard time." Corey and we ran out of harmonicas, so we wanted to order a whole grouping of harmonicas, and we went on with KMC, and they had none in stock. So we ended up going with LPD, who is one of your, and we do that a lot. We have a number of distributors. If you're a top distributor, you have Lee Oskar harmonicas. So we luckily have other sources when we run out. But he said it was a good reason. He said that they had sold so much that that was a great thing, and we're fully stocked now.
Awesome.
But that was
I see. Corey, you got the stack back there.
Yeah.
Get the collection.
I feel dumb. It took me so long to figure out that they stack on top of each other.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That is
major design feature.
I was like, whoa, okay. I was just messing around, and then I was like, is this actually no.
Interlocking boxes. Yeah, that's Lee's design, and it's very innovative for the industry. No one else does that.
I'll tell you something other that's gotten cool. Like some of the other stores that sell the Oskar harmonicas, we've developed a nice relationship where if they have a customer that runs out, they'll give us a call and we'll be able to do it. And it's mutual the same way. If I need something immediately, they know that we have as many Lee Oskar harmonicas as we do in the showroom and in storage, so we can manipulate it that way, which is fantastic. So
community.
It's a good community, and you know what else is good? Everybody's selling the Oskar harmonicas, and they're not selling the other guy.
Man, that's just great, and I just hope that that all of the hard work that we do, as far as marketing our brand and trying to think outside the box and not be your average harmonica company. The harmonica itself is kind of a bit of can be considered sort of a homogenized instrument, and standing out in a way that is unique and differential, and that's something that we've always focused on as a core. It's kind of like one of Lee's core ideals, and as a pioneer of harmonicas for the last 50 years, he's 43 years now, and since he started the business, it's always been kind of a major tenet, and so many other companies have taken his ideas and tried to implement them, different tunings, and sometimes even direct knockoffs of his core concepts. He's been incredibly innovative with the instrument.
Well, you know what else is all really cool about NAMM with the Lee Oskar booth and Lee himself is, he is a rock star who actually works his booth. Now, there's no one else that does what he does. And then when he goes on stage, and the two other gentlemen that are with him who are phenomenal harmonica players as well, and they show what you could do with the backing tracks and the pedal boards and the sounds. Like
that's every element of this community, by the way, too, which makes it such a cool part of it. But it's inspiring.
It brings even the guys that come with us, and we have 8 or 9, 10 people that are usually with us, and then they go and they listen, and they're like, I never thought of the harmonica that way. Like I never realized, that you could do all those things. And for all those musicians who poo-poo the backtrack or those type of thing, hey, I have a videotape of Lee and friends playing, and you tell me what's not great about that.
By the way, with this year's the showcase that y'all did, the addition of the DJ, whose idea was it? I have a feeling I might know.
Oh yeah, no, Oh, you mean Mixmaster Mike?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's kind of a long story in itself. It would be better told probably by Lee himself, but the connection, as I'm aware of it, came from Lee playing with Steve Jordan's band for the Michael J. Fox Foundation's yearly gala in November that they do in New York. And so he's been playing with Steve Jordan's band for a couple of years. Mixmaster Mike is also there playing as part of the band. And that's how they made their connection. And Lee has talked about wanting, has been playing over the last few years with and experimenting with other harmonica players internationally, Moses Konkis in this from Italy, or Sardinia actually, in this case, and Taro Senga from Japan.
Which are both phenomenal harmonica players. If anybody who's out there ever get a chance, one, when it's the three of them together, but when I get to watch that, we're mesmerized.
It doesn't get old.
No, not at all.
Incredible. And so they've kind of found a groove with this very spontaneous, very real, improvised, loop-based harmonica method that they do, performance that they do, and they brought Mixmaster Mike in from Las Vegas to come, and he was coming to the NAMM show to do a demo with Pioneer as well, so he was there. I guess from the day before, a few days before, performing with at the Pioneer booth, demoing before Lee and Moses and Taro and Mike all performed at the Plaza Audio stage. DAS Audio stage?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I want to give a shout out to my daughter right now, who is actually watching this from Abu Dhabi. She must be getting ready for her flight. She's flying from Abu Dhabi to Doha.
So I say that on the thing.
I was like, Alicia is watching. I'm like, wow, that's dedication. That's a good daughter.
That's awesome.
Because it's got to be really early in the morning there. It's a 9-hour difference. I'm always impressed with the internet. Now, isn't there a new harmonica, Corey? Didn't you win one?
I do believe Corey actually won the drawing. Yeah, or we had a daily drawing for to give away a Lee Oskar lowrider harmonica at the NAMM show, and you had to be present to win. It was not fixed at all. I mean,
I went over apologizing.
I pulled like three. I swear, I pulled like 3 or 4 people, tickets before I pulled yours, and nobody, was there to claim it. And then I think the 3rd or 4th one, it was you. So congratulations, man. That's awesome. I'm glad.
I never win anything. I ran over because I knew there was going to be one more performance, and I wanted to be on the show floor before they actually shut down. And I remember my heart was like racing because I'm just like, crap. Also, because I needed to get back because I had my guitar at the Eminent Technology booth. So I was like, I need to get back to the other side from like all the pro audio stuff. And I was like, I have the ticket. I'm gonna come by. And anyway, you were doing
it. So what makes that harmonica unique? Because it was a gold one and a silver one, right?
Okay, yeah. So I think you have the standard model, which is a silver comb. It's a chrome look comb. It's still an ABS plastic comb. Oh, you haven't taken it out of the box. Okay, so it's like, nope, sealed, keeping it sealed.
Yep.
So that we did two models. One is a extremely limited edition gold comb. If you can find one, I suggest holding on to them because there were only 1,000 units in existence. Or maybe there's 500. I'd have to double check on that. And that one here, I'll show you the difference of it. But if you haven't seen it yet, this is the case. It's the Lee Oskar lowrider harmonica. Sorry, it's my camera's flipped backwards.
I see it fine.
Okay. Yeah, I see it a lot better than I see my own face. So that's pretty good.
I mean, my camera is flipped around, I think. So the difference, here's the cover plate, if you can see it. So,
oh, that's sick. Because I still
Yeah.
haven't seen mine.
Now the difference is, and this is you can see it's a silver chrome comb. Now the difference being that if I hold one up and I hold up a standard Lee Oskar, you can see that the cover plate itself has been altered from a standard Lee Oskar.
Yeah,
it's a much taller cover plate design, so it has more. It has like a brighter resonance. And
I was going to say, is it a more bassier tone?
Yeah, people love to play this type because, and we basically listen to our players and player feedback over many years, and folks have been asking for this kind of a design for a while. And my understanding, being that I'm a product designer, not a player, so I'm in design and marketing, but my understanding is that folks like to play a more open harmonica design because it allows you to have a little bit more air control with your vibrato and things like that, and bent notes. And so the insert that comes with it, here's a copy of the insert, and it shows the difference between a standard Lee Oskar and a lowrider.
And it's kind of like a low rider to the degree that it's being lifted up. It's
got a lifted look to it, and inside there's a personal statement from George Lopez, who used the song "Lowrider" in his show on network TV for years and years.
Yes.
And there's a nice little story here about how Lee and George Lopez finally met up at the Hollywood Walk of Fame when Lee was being awarded with his plaque and the star on the Walk of Fame for his work with war. And George Lopez was there, and they ended up bonding over common love of lowriders.
Nice.
In the culture. So it was great for them to finally meet, and they ended up playing a show together down in Austin. He played with Alex Rodriguez's band down in Austin, Texas, and George Lopez played guitar. It was a whole thing.
Very cool.
I'll see if I can find some footage of it. I think I have some somewhere. I'll send it to you if I can find it.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah. So I have another question as the marketing person, and look, we go to NAMM and I have access to a lot of things, but by the way, we only have Lee Oskars. We that's all we sell. But my question would be, the chromatic. Will Lee ever go to a chromatic harmonica in any way or form, or is there something he just doesn't believe in needing to do that?
That's a good question. Well, I think I can talk about this. We're actually introducing into U.S. markets and bringing over some of the Tombo harmonicas from Japan.
Okay.
As Lee Oskar branded harmonicas. One of which is a chromatic harp, and it should be available later on this year. I don't have a direct street date for it yet.
Okay.
But, keep an eye out. We have a lot of products that are currently under development, and some things that are incredibly surprising that you would not even expect from us. So but yeah, we definitely have a few Tombow products that are coming, and the Unichromatic is one of those.
Very cool. Yeah, I'd always wondered. I mean, especially you have what 52 different keys in 53. I'm sorry. So I always wondered, was that because you had so many different variations that you didn't need to do the chromatic, but obviously that was just you can only introduce so much per year.
Yeah, I think that the chromatic itself, there's a lot of chromatic players, and there are some quality instruments out there. I personally believe that the Tombow instruments are just so well made that they've been making harmonicas for over 100 years, 110 years. Yeah.
They have a little
it's a multi-generational family of instrument manufacturers, and the quality is second to none on their instruments. And so anything else that that comes out from another manufacturer, I don't want to name names, but they don't come across as they come across more as an automated. They use automated manufacturing processes. They feel less like a bespoke generated instrument. And so there's a quality of manufacturing and love and care that goes into every one of the Tombow instruments, and I feel that will be reflected and appreciated when they come to the Americas later this year.
No, that should be great. It's
I mean,
funny.
I'll admit, like, when I'm in like these harmonica forums, I will sometimes be a snotty asshole and like be like, you could play with a toy, or you can play a real instrument. There's the difference.
And there's definitely like a place for that too. Like,
oh yeah,
we don't obviously, there's definitely a market and a place for all players of all types and budgets, etc. And there's playable instruments out there for sure. We just try to create a product that is consistent, that has been the same reliable product. People have Lee Oskar harmonicas, they've had them for 20 years. They still play the same as they did 20 years ago. And the fact that you can, it's a tinkerer's product too. So if you want to take it apart, put it, swap replates out with them, create new tunings, experiment, maintain them yourself, tune them, down tune them, however you want. You have a lot of flexibility with the product that's the reason it was designed. Is this?
Well, Corey, didn't you get a personal? Didn't Lee show you how to do that?
I would, yeah, no, and it's crazy how you can manipulate something so it's built for that. Like you were saying, it's built like the harmonica is made for you to play it. It's not it's not there to just like, here's the instrument, you work around it. No, it can work. You can work together with it.
Yeah.
Well, I always watch when Corey plays. A lot of times, he plays with two harmonicas at one time, where he's going back and forth with his hands.
With two different tunings, yeah.
Yeah. I see you do that. In fact, I put a video out, I think, from the Stowe last week, where you had the two harmonicas at the same time. I mean, I've seen you even do three, which is crazy in my eyes. It's like, how the hell is he doing that? But it's very cool.
It's a dance.
Yeah, but it's funny. So the KMC booth is right over there. So I think you've met our friend Karen. So Karen was supposed to play over at the Monster booth. They had the thing right over there. So I go down to go see her, and she was all annoyed. She got bumped because Stevie Wonder showed up.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I love you, Karen, and you're great. But I was thinking about someone who plays a little harmonica, Stevie, and the chromatic.
Chromatic as well, yeah.
But I was like, yeah, I don't think you should be mad that you got bumped for Stevie Wonder. Like,
Yeah. Did you guys see the line for Corey Feldman signing?
That was wild, and I will not forget my first Corey Feldman signing that I had at NAMM.
Yeah. A couple years ago, or
yeah,
he came to our booth a couple years ago. I met him.
Well, I know your wife is a very big fan of Corey. Not this Corey, the other Corey.
Yeah.
Maybe both.
but
yeah,
like,
so
yeah,
he's like seems super chill, very down to earth, in person, just really cool, really interested in the product, and spent some time with Lee,
Very neat.
talking, and
great.
Yeah, it's good.
I remember, my first sighting of him, I was like, who's this dude walking around? This dude looks like Corey Feldman. And then I get a text later in the day, you won't believe who just stopped by the booth. I'm
that was me. Yeah, didn't I text you and say
that
he was there? I think I did.
Like, it's Corey Feldman. Wait, that was actually Corey Feldman.
Literally, yeah.
God bless him.
I think it's great that he goes every year. I think it's a magnificent that Stevie Wonder goes every single year, and I've seen countless other just walking in the crowd, and
sure, yeah.
It's fantastic. But I think the one thing that makes your booth more exciting and just, if you go to Lee Oskar booth, you got a pretty good chance that you're going to see Lee Oskar there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, pretty good chance.
Cool. and that he's still working that booth, and he is working it. Like, he's not sitting back and saying, "Hey guys, you guys do your job," and I'll make an occasional appearance. No, he's out there playing every few hours.
Yeah, he does support calls still too. I mean, he calls consumers back, and they got problems. So people have been really surprised by that. And not so much nowadays. He's kind of doing his own thing a little bit, and recording and producing. And right now, at least, has been super involved in a lot of different projects and painting and other things. But yeah, he will do the occasional consumer callback, and folks are like stunned.
Who is it?
You got Lee on the phone.
When you guys came to Connecticut and New York last year,
oh yeah,
I know for a fact, besides doing the events that you guys did, you had your sales reps taking you to the individual stores and doing meet and greets, right? I mean,
we did a few of those.
I mean, how excellent is that you guys will go? Because look, we deal with lots and lots of vendors. Obviously, we have a different relationship with you guys than we have with many of the other stuff, but no one else does that. It just doesn't happen. So I think that. What did Nate tell me? You guys could sell up to 500,000 harmonicas in a year on a solid year.
I wouldn't. I'd have to defer to Nate on the figures.
Yeah, I think that's like a good year, like a very good year. I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, and the different keys and everything that you guys do. I mean, I think it's exceptional. And the other thing that I get to hear on our end is through the different distributors. They tell us how easy it is to deal with you guys. They all have good relationships, and that's wonderful as a dealer to go through a distributorship to understand that there is that ease of transition to get the stuff and stay on top of it. I mean, it
appreciate it.
It means a lot, obviously. And like I said, when we were trying to, we ran out, all of a sudden we looked and we're like, oh damn, we have no harmonicas. We got to order a whole bunch of harmonicas right now. And I looked at KMC and like, out of inventory. I was, what the heck?
Oh.
And we needed a few immediately. And then one of the stores who will borrow from us sometimes, we borrowed from them to sell ours. and then LPD came through and really helped us out. And that was,
I'm glad.
That was a terrific deal. You know, the other thing with NAMM this year, we were so busy. Corey, how many booths did you play? I mean, how many times did you play?
I played 3 on-floor things. I did an outside marketing event, and then I ended up playing, and I ended up sitting in for a song at the Marriott, which that was a good time and got spread around. Oh, what was the one guy?
What was the other harmonica players?
Dylan Torres, I believe was his name.
Who was on the Lee Oskar harmonica?
He mentioned it. Yeah, Dylan Torres. Interesting too. Like there were probably 20 of us on stage at this one microphone. Yeah, one microphone. Probably, you know.
It was a bluegrass band at the Marriott,
and it was a wild time, wild mix of instruments. There was a euphonium on stage, a couple banjos.
Explain what a euphonium is.
A euphonium, it's like a tuba.
Okay, well, the average listener probably doesn't know that.
It's the instrument everyone thinks is a tuba.
Okay.
You would use a euphonium in a marching band as opposed to usually the.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Corey played at the different booths, and then he played at an event at Costa Mesa at a brewery.
That was fun.
And we got to play with the Creef brothers. These guys do gypsy jazz, and they're 2 of the best guitar players in the world. Their dad is world renowned, and you know how good they are. When they come to the United States, they stay actually with George Benson.
Okay.
So it's like, all right, you get credence right there, and then I watched them play, and they pretty terrific. I mean, it's not a genre that I know a lot about, gypsy jazz, but they were pretty cool. So they played, Corey played, and Karen played, and that was a pretty cool night.
Speaking of cool,
yes,
to move the direction a little bit. Speaking of cool, one of the ads I watched last night was for a particular film that I'm very excited that's coming out. And Dmitri, I feel like you also may have a particular interest in. That being
the
Mandalorian and Grogu.
I mean, it's not to love, man.
Oh my god, I am beyond hyped. I'm happy that they're getting like a film. I hope it's not the end of the 2 of them, but
no, it won't be. Of course not.
There's more money to be made.
The full season, though. I mean, it feels like, you can only do so much in a film.
That it's like, please give me more, give me more. I haven't felt this invested about 2 characters in so long. But
I saw a flash of the Razor Crest in the trailer. Go back and watch it. I was like, how did they get the Razor? Wait, they got the Razor Crest back?
I'm glad they took a minute to just kind of refresh, not over give us too much. It was the market was so saturated between Marvel and Star Wars, and I'm very happy about this new administration change. I think it's going to do a lot of good. There's a great big beautiful tomorrow shining on the edge of every day.
Sure.
And
see, you know where I thought you guys were going? I know that Dmitri, weren't you from Seattle?
Oh, that too.
Yeah. I lived in Seattle for a number of years.
So I thought Corey was leading to the Seattle Seahawk victory last night.
I mean, shout out to the 12s. Like, it's retribution for 11 years ago. Awful
play call.
Decision. Why would you not give the ball to Marshawn Lynch? Like, oh my God. It's like stab me in the heart in that game. Oh my God.
I got to tell you, we were watching a game at Cody Bondra's place, and there's a lot of us there. That game was hard to watch. It was like watching paint dry.
Yesterday? I mean, yeah, it didn't really peak until top of the 4th, really.
Yeah, and you know what? I felt the whole time. I mean, Seattle was kind of in control the entire game. Patriots offense was
We got to give credit where credit's due, though. Myers held that entire game. He put half of the points on the board for the Seahawks,
oh yeah,
and got no love, no shout out at the end of the game,
right,
no
right.
MVP, no anything. Like, come on, man. Okay, even you either broke the record,
Right.
NFL record for most completed kicks in a single Super Bowl game, and should have got a lot more. I think you should have got a lot more props for that, personally.
I agree. I watched the entire game, and I am, since the final 2 games of the season, obviously we see the Patriots more than anything else because we live in New England, we live in Connecticut, so we see the Patriots all the time. And I'm a Giant fan, so I don't have I'm not
talking this fight.
Yeah, and but I watched him, and I've seen Drake May play, and he had a great season. And then all of a sudden, the last 2 games of the season, he really wasn't the same guy I'd watched all season. And in the playoffs, he's been downright miserable. And the offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniel, has got to be the most overrated offensive anything. Seattle is dominating your line. They're beating the daylights out of your line.
They beat the crap out of him. What, he got 6 sacks?
Yeah, and every time he even went back, he was getting rushed. How do you not run the ball? And they were doing well running the ball. So they'd run on first down, they get 6-7 yards, and then for some crazy reason they decide to throw the ball 2 and 3, and they don't complete anything. They're sending only 2 receivers deep. So Seattle's got 3- and 5-man coverages on them. So even if he got the ball to him, he would get intercepted most likely. No screen passes, no draws.
It was tough to watch, for sure.
Yeah, look, Seattle outplayed them, outcoached them. It was, I see James is saying, I think May's still injured. Well,
coming from our source at the Mouse.
Yes. Yes, being our ESPN person, but there had to be something wrong because that kid played terribly. I mean, May was dreadful. The offense, and how does he not run? I mean, anytime he decided to run, he could run. I don't understand. And Seattle just played a brilliant game. It was well coached. Hey, you know what? You're going to keep giving us field goals? We'll just keep taking field goals.
Yeah.
And if your offense doesn't want to be on the field, we'll be more than happy to just drag this baby out and make you more tired than you've ever, believed. I was.
Yeah, for sure.
But I am happy that Seattle got their revenge.
Yeah, me too. It was well earned, I should say.
They were the best team in the league the whole season. Anytime I watch the Seattle game, they dominated pretty much every team. It's a great defense. That defense is just frightening. So, and then we have some Olympics going on here as well.
Oh yeah, I need to catch up. I've been kind of tuned out for a couple of days.
I've always been
controversial today.
Which I saw. Oh my god! I saw what happened to Lindsey Vonn. That was
that was
and I have a very very.
That was unavoidable.
She.
And whether or not from her injury.
So she's claiming it wasn't. I believe she's going to need a few. It sounds like she's going to need a few major surgeries to fix her knee at this point.
She blew her knee out again.
So
sad.
Here's my take. I admire the ability to come out and say I'm going to overcome this, but an ACL, no matter whether or not this injury had to do with this, she took away again. You have the reserve. The reserve ready to go. That was irresponsible on her end. And again, she wanted to go out one more time. She had the gusto to do it.
The coaches and the doctors.
It was wrong that they let that happen.
Look, as someone who's had ACL and meniscus damage in his left knee, my knee never recovered. and I've had it 2 times. It takes 6 months to 12 months to even get back to normalization, much less professional athlete ability.
Yeah.
She got hurt 6 days ago. 6 or 7 days ago. There is no way anybody in the world can tell me that a doctor should have ever cleared her. And
No.
you can tell me, oh, her stick hit the pole. No, that's not what happened. I mean, maybe it did. But
no matter what, she's got nerves on this.
she
Those
broke
kind of sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, she broke her leg where the ACL damage was. It's the same leg. She should never have been allowed. Her coaches, her parents should have said,
No, her father actually. So it sounds like he's pretty pissed about this. It does. I think he must have advised against this because he's like, her career is done after this.
well,
She will
her
not be
career was
returned.
done anyway. She was
Well,
42.
no, it didn't sound like he was very pleased with the fact that he did this. But my thing again, not to discredit her entire career, a phenomenal career, Olympic USA champion. She did someone else dirty. She shouldn't have gone out there. You know what? I remember when Simone Biles, when she had her thing during the summer games, she got the yips. She knew this isn't safe. This isn't safe for anybody. I shouldn't be doing this. She stepped away. She got out of the competition.
And I'll
That's
tell
my
you,
only criticism.
If anybody saw the movie Friday Night Lights,
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys remember that movie? The character Booby, whatever his name was, he had ACL damage, and they gave him a shot, and they said it doesn't matter, go out and play. We'll put the brace as tight as we can, and we'll give you a shot. And I know it was a fictional character, but then he blows out his leg completely, breaks it, just like what happened to her, and his career was over. If you, and again, as someone who's had the ACL, I never overcame that injury. I never, ever did. It never will be the same. I can no longer stuff a basketball. I can no longer do a lot of those things. And it just, I can't tell anybody. It feels as though you have no, it's like it's not connected, your knee correctly. Like in any moment, you can just, it separates from you.
Wow. Yeah.
And to go on a mountain at 100 and something miles an hour,
An already dangerous sport,
right? And with these slick turns back and forth, I thought that, again, I'm not going to blame her exclusively because that's what medical people are supposed to do. It's like football players with concussions now; they don't let you go back out there. There's protocol. ACL, you should not be able to compete on a mountain going down 100 miles an hour. I just thought it was very poor coaching. I think NBC might have pushed for her to do it for the story. I think all the wrong people pushed for a wrong episode, and this poor young lady, she might never walk correctly again.
I'm sure she has her own agency, and I'm sure she wants, what she wants, and I'm sure there, of course, there's sphere of influence and everything, but
Yeah,
I hate to see somebody in pain like that.
that's
the biggest thing. It's just like you may never recover from that ever. You can be in horrible chronic pain for the rest of your life.
oh yeah, no.
and again,
That was she was already airborne, but she was more airborne than you should be in a situation like that. That wasn't a light fall.
But on the positive side for the United States, they won a gold medal in that event.
Nonetheless.
Yeah.
But which also goes to the Corey side of it. You had 2 champions. The person who came in third, who might have represented the United States, probably might have medaled too. Like, that's one of those cases where the best in that event are all in one country. You might have had another, someone might have been able to compete for that. That's the other end. But the Olympics so far have been a lot of fun. I've gotten a lot of fun watching the Italian skaters. And so the distance events, these guys, home country advantage, home country cooking. These guys have been a lot of fun. They've been working it.
Actually, and also, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Also, the Japanese skaters yesterday. Oh my Lord. What was her name?
That's what my daughter was telling me. I haven't had a chance to do a follow up yet.
They were absolutely incredible.
Yeah, the dancer and the pair for the United States were fantastic, and then the quad guy, he
quad
put down,
god.
Yeah, the quad god.
Yeah, Ilya Malin.
It's funny because the two young men on the
Malinin, excuse me, Ilya Malinin,
and the long program, they are so technically perfect. Like, they don't make mistakes. It's elegant and eloquent to watch them skate. Where quad god, he's just so much better of an athlete.
The athleticity. This dude's. Yeah. This is the first time in literally 50 years that a backflip is allowed in competition.
Well, he's also
he did it. He's also the first guy, I think, to ever successfully in an Olympic competition do not just one quad, which has never been done. He did it 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah, no,
3 times.
It was fun to watch.
I have to catch up on it. I feel like I'm halfway out of the conversation because I don't have context. So coming in secondhand.
So then I'm gonna throw one other little controversy. We're gonna do 2 Hall of Fames. The first Hall of Fame.
Okay.
We'll go to the music one in a minute, the rock and roll one. But this week was the NFL Hall of Fame induction ceremonies, and there were 2 people that were not included in this. Well, LC Greenwood, if you're going to count him too.
Eli.
Yeah.
Well, Eli too. I mean, he was before,
but two main players in this.
Okay.
Bill Belichick.
Yeah. There, and again, I'm not a Bill Belichick fan. When he was the Giants defensive coordinator, I liked him a lot better than when he was a coach for other teams. But when you have 6 Super Bowls as a head coach and 2 Super Bowls as a assistant coach, and you have the most wins in the history in the playoffs and the second most of all time in the NFL, that he's not a first-time Hall of Fame vote in.
Does that translate to direct equity is what you're saying?
Yes, correct. 100%. I couldn't have said it more eloquently and better than the way you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's kind of a double-edged sword, and it always happens that way where the people that you feel are the most, qualified, get so quote unquote snubbed. And sometimes it's political, let's not get it twisted, but I don't have enough of a stake in the NFL to really comment on it overall.
I know there was a rule change. Evidently, you're not allowed to vote on as many players as you could. I guess 2 years ago, they made a rule change about how many players could get in at once. And so that changed some of the things. But I would think if I were a voter, I wouldn't go by who my favorite guy was. I would hope that I would go, number 1 most qualified is this person. Check. And I go down the line. I think Adam Vinatieri was one of the greatest kickers of all time. But there's no way Adam Vinatieri should get into the Football Hall of Fame before his coach, Belichick. I'm sorry. I just that it blew my mind. And as an owner goes, and maybe there should be separate voting. There should be a vote for coaches this way and owners this way and players separate. But Bob Kraft, in the time he's owned the team, has certainly been the most successful owner in the history of pro football, and he didn't get in either. Now, is there just a hatred for New England? Most likely. I get it.
Belichick's 20-something-year-old girlfriend who's younger than me. The other day, the two of them went to a Tar Heels basketball game, and she was wearing an Orchids of Asia T-shirt.
I don't know what that means.
Remember that little scandal that Mr. Kraft got himself into a bunch of years back?
All right. Well, then
That was the name of the massage parlor.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. So there's some bad.
Right. Oh my god.
Yeah. So.
Right.
So Belichick obviously has some bad blood still with Mr. Kraft.
That's funny.
That's terrible.
That is so bad.
Again, I don't like Belichick. I think it's gross that he has a girlfriend that's younger than my daughter.
Okay, but however you want to color it, whatever.
That is vicious.
It doesn't reduce the level of the burn. That's for sure on that one.
Yes. Yes.
Who knows what kind of burn he has after this? But
and Mr. Kraft is you know what? Here's what I'll say for Mr. Kraft. He was a widow. He was a widower. His wife had died.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't care. I think he's a nice man and whatever. But I think the NFL Hall of Fame needs to go back to the drawing board and figure out how to fix. And if nothing else, have a special election in the next 25 to 30 days and say, hey, guys, we have a new way of doing this because this is a disgrace. But as I digress, let's go to the Hall of Fame that Dmitri and Corey, you will be much better in commenting on.
Okay.
March 2nd, Monday, March 2nd. So there will be a Dilem-Monday special as we do annually. Possibly, quite possibly. But March 2nd.
Separate conversation.
Yes.
Okay.
March 2nd. It is reported that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame will put out their list of nominees this year. I think last year they did a pretty good job. As many people know, and that's without bias, that as many people know, I've campaigned for Warren Zevon to get into the Hall of Fame because I'm that guy. And he finally got in. Woo! It happened. It was great. But I think there's a lot of good happening with the Hall of Fame. I know there's one particular group I think we're both have vested interest possibly in hopefully finally not being overlooked now that Jan's gone.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
mean that group that has like a harmonica on it, and I hear at least 2 or 3 songs on the radio every single day.
On Sirius XM
every few hours I hear at least
song.
Yeah.
Got it.
I think I hear Cisco Kid more than anything else in the last month. It must have been on the
Sure. And if that's the question, is do you think that War deserves to be? They absolutely deserve to be. They've been nominated twice before, 3 times.
Twice
before?
or 3 times.
Yeah, 2 or 3 times before. Of course, there's some standing, with that, and I'll let you guys do the math on that. You can look that up. There's definitely history there. However, they did all come together to accept a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
And if they would do that, I can't imagine that they wouldn't do the other thing.
Of course, yeah, I'm sure.
We go on stage to play. That's a whole other story. But I would imagine that they would go up and get their.
I don't know. I can't quantify that with facts. In that, I just don't know. I mean, I think it's one of those things that if it happened, it happens, and then deal with that when it happens, if it happens.
Right. Right.
I'm sure that Lee would be honored to be inducted. It'd be well deserved, for sure, for certain.
100%. I mean, you know what? For his work at the NAMM convention alone, the man deserves some stuff because he is, as I've said, the one true rock and roll star who not only goes to the damn convention, he works it every year.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
and his
Very approachable.
right, like his what he's brought to the music industry with his harmonicas that he's developed, the different keys, the systems that he's produced. You know, technology alone, he should get.
There is that category that could satisfy this.
Well, no, and
musical excellence.
I think
Lee Oskar himself
for that as well. But you know, there's another group out there who I've been campaigning, and I can't believe, whose main instrument that we all know is a flute. Why is Jethro Tull not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I don't understand that one. I mean,
I don't have an answer there. I mean, obviously incredibly talented.
Yeah.
The other one too that comes to my mind, and I'll ask everybody, you know, a further one, but like I'm realizing two of my three favorite harmonica players in the world are not in the Hall of Fame. Lee being one of them, and there's this other band from the dirty city of Worcester, one of the most fiery live bands of all time, some of the greatest live records. Why in God's name is the Jay Giles Band not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Shout out Magic Dick. Which is, it's fun when you can actually say that like in like context and I don't have to censor myself.
Jay Giles Band when I was in high school was one of my favorite bands. We used to listen to this. Come on, they have iconic '1 hits that, again, amazing to me that they don't even get talked about. You know, Freeze Frame, Centerfold, so many great songs that. And
then think about those, you know.
Well, the early
Looking
years,
for a Love must have got lost. They were, and those live records. Oh my God, Full House Live, the Whammer Jammer on. Oh my God, like they were a party band.
And the one thing
on stage
that they also did was they, like the Bee Gees, were able to transform themselves as, you know, disco era and things and rock changed. They changed with the times and were able to really move. So, and I'll throw another group that to me it's I don't understand. How is Styx not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Oh, like
another question.
Tommy Thayer has a big mouth.
You know, and again, we're getting into like the politics nonsense.
Yeah, there is some of that for sure. Yeah, I never in my life thought that I would see like bands like, you know, like 9 Inch Nails and The Cure and Depeche Mode get inducted before war. It seems like, you know, like I mean, I love all those groups, you know.
Absolutely.
And I feel like they have an incredible influence, at least on me, in my life. But you know, coming up as an '80s kid, but like,
I don't get it. Like,
I don't get it. You know,
I rip it all the time on like Cat Stevens.
I think it's that. It's definitely the politics, you know, aspect of it. It was too much to deal with. All of the, you know, considering all of the litigation, everything that they were going through.
No, and with war, yeah, I get that whole point, but like, you know, Cat Stevens doesn't have nearly as '1 hits.
I disagree with you on Cat Stevens.
He has 2 or 3, and he disappeared.
I would say 5 or 6, but
no, some of the ones. Again, it's not fair because I'm not a fan.
Dmitri, who's a group that you would want in the Hall of Fame that, to your knowledge, is not in?
Aside from the ones that we've discussed.
I'd have to look at the inductees list because I'm a little out of touch. Who's not in that I would consider needs to be in?
Yeah, so obviously the ones that we mentioned were Styx. We mentioned Jay Giles. We mentioned Jethro Tull. Those are the ones that glare out to me. I'll tell you another one. Dan Fogelberg. Gigantic hits.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I see Corey's face because that's not.
No, and again, I love Dan Fogelberg. I think his voice was magical. It was something else. His ability to write a song was otherworldly. But again, with some of these other people who aren't in the Hall of Fame, and there's a Songwriters Hall of Fame for a reason. And he belongs there, if nothing else.
To be fair, look, I love Warren Zevon, but how is Warren Zevon above Dan Fogelberg?
Dan Fogelberg never had a Werewolves of London.
He had longer than
but that's not Werewolves of London.
I bet.
Nor Poor Pitiful Me, nor Lawyers, Guns, and Money, nor
he had. We do this all the time, by the way, when we're driving like a 5-hour show, to go into a show in the middle of nowhere. I make them look up who has more sales, and we start looking at, and sometimes it's very surprising on the sales.
How few? It's never surprising how many some of these people made. In some of these cases, I'm shocked how few sales some of these artists had. Like, and we're talking bands that are like already in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Artists
like Velvet Underground has no sales.
I mean, I'd have to I don't know. Being that I'm an American living in Canada, I have to say, just for my Maple brethren, the Tragically Hip.
Yes.
Well, you're going to get you're going to get a yes from Corey because that's his like.
I have the last like 2 years I have fallen in love. They are my top listened to band on my Apple Music.
But again, they don't have many sales. We looked that up. Their sales. No,
I mean, if we're talking about, I get it. You're talking about actual figures. Yeah. We're talking about fame. It is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And in Canada, they are absolutely. And I'm gonna let's go to fairness on my side. I had never heard of the Tragically Hip until 2 years ago when Corey mentioned
that's okay.
The greatest band in Canadian history is the Tragically Hip, and I'm like, well, it's tragic. I've never heard of it.
It was tragic you had never heard of it, and thank God I came around to show you the way.
And you know what?
Peter Frampton finally got in. Speaking of show me the way, Peter Frampton finally got in.
Oh, yeah.
My point with Tragically Hip is I like their songs. You introduced a cool group to me, and I'm really – but my point why they're not in is because I do listen to music. I did listen to music. I too am a late 70s, full 80s person that's when I grew up, and I was in clubs every single weekend, and I had never ever once in New York or Long Island heard the Tragically Hip.
And I think that
I heard Zebra, I heard the Good Rats, I heard the Long Island bands, but I did not ever hear of those guys. And I'm not saying disrespectfully, it's just they weren't in the States.
Yeah,
they didn't play a lot.
And I think there's something about what I love about the Hip is that they didn't do it like they're like, and they did a few tours. They did what, Woodstock 99, whichever one wasn't the total show. But the whole thing was, I don't know if there's ever been a band that has universally represented one country uniquely. Like, and I think the Hall of Fame at this point, again, since Jan Werner and his, backward ass bullshit is done with, the Hall of Fame has always had a very Anglo-American centricism where there's there's some, you have a guy who, ironically, a guy like Sixto Rodriguez, who became this gigantic superstar in South Africa during apartheid. He was from Detroit, and he never knew that he was famous. This guy outsold the Beatles, Bob Dylan, and the Rolling Stones in South Africa. Yeah, and there's the documentary, Searching for Sugar Man. I'm like, to a degree, how do you overlook something like that? Like, this guy changed a climate, and he never knew about it. He was a bricklayer in Detroit. He didn't find out until he was like 65, 70 years old.
That his music was that popular.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say one other thing. Speaking of Detroit and the Tragically Hip, the Detroit guys, the Michigan guys, really don't travel very often outside of Michigan, and never did, because they had a base of 10 million people that would buy their stuff in the state of Michigan, and they make a lot of money without having to ever leave. Yes, Ted Nugent, Kid Rock. No, but to the point that the Tragically Hip had 30 million Canadians.
We could have gone with Bob Seger.
Well, because he retired.
It's true. It's true.
I would have said Bob Seger, but he retired. But he too was part of the Michigan scene, where the Michigan scene, they're proud of it, that they don't have to tour outside of Michigan. They just stay in Michigan and they make their money. And the Tragically Hip had a much larger, gigantic country.
By the way, Michigan was one of the few American markets, because of the proximity, that always had. That was one of the cities. You had Cleveland. You had,
right, and I'm sure they
Detroit,
probably went to Buffalo once in a while. Why anybody would want to go to Buffalo?
I think of a number of others that, that at least from 80s and 90s artists that I feel like qualify now, that should probably be at least nominated, if they haven't already been.
Oh wait, I just thought of the biggest one.
Oh, let Dmitri finish.
Well, I was going to say, I was thinking about it. His first name starts with Sir Tom Jones.
Yes,
Tom Jones.
How the hell is Tom Jones not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Oh, I thought you were thinking of Sir Mix-a-Lot.
No, and honestly, here's the thing. If the Hall of Fame has decided that rock and roll is not necessarily a genre, but they've determined it youth music, it is, rock and roll is an energy, it is an ethos, not, there are, at this point, there are a few of these hip hop groups that, for example, De La Soul should be in, The Roots should be in at this point. How you put everyone else in? How is Snoop Dogg not in at this point? If all of his contemporaries are in, the one guy who's actually alive that we can celebrate his laurels, actually celebrate the fact that this guy.
Why are we skipping Sir Tom?
Touche, but
I mean,
Tom Jones. Okay, yeah, no, I agree. Tom Jones definitely is.
I mean, and he is a rock and roll guy too. It's not like he wasn't a rock and roll guy. I mean,
his
show with Elvis. His show when I was a little kid. Listen, my first chance at looking at above age boobs was because my mother had no babysitter that night, and took her and the nanny took the little 4-year-old boy to go to the Westbury Music Fair to see Tom Jones, and there were women there for the first time in my young life who I got to see pulling their shirts off and throwing their bras on stage to this man. I was like, this man is a god. How do we get this? How do I get the superpower that Tom Jones has? This is amazing.
I don't know. I don't get the draw.
Yeah.
But, he had it. Same so did Neil Diamond. I never got the appeal.
So he is in, and there's a line from his induction that has real estate in my brain. Paul Simon inducted him because they were buddies from the Brill Building. Paul Simon said, "Let it be known that there are still synagogues in America in which they will tell you that Elvis Presley was cool, but he seemed a little bit too much like a knockoff of Neil Diamond."
Well, I got to see Neil Diamond at the Nassau Coliseum.
Oh.
And I did not buy tickets. I was not married yet, but Lisa and I were dating, and my 2 houses away neighbors, the Schragers, had tickets. They couldn't go. They saw that I was there, knocked on the door, and said, "Craig, do you and Lisa want to go see Neil Diamond?" And I'm like, well, you know what? I got nothing better to do tonight. So let's go to the Nassau Coliseum. And you know what? It was a pretty good show. Not going to lie.
Okay.
I wouldn't turn down tickets to see Neil Diamond. I mean,
if you're getting offered them.
Yeah, no. I mean,
Here's a question for you. What is the wildest concert you've ever been to that you would have never expected you'd ever go to?
Oh gosh.
Kind of
that
in
I never expected that I would go to, or that I would.
all of my father going to see Neil Diamond and would have you would have never gone in a million years, but you got the opportunity.
No, there's no way I would have bought the ticket.
That I never expected that I would go to. It was the tsunami relief benefit in 2007. 2007, tsunami relief benefit at the Paramount Theater, to which I was a special guest of the Presidents of the United States of America frontman Chris Ballou, who got me backstage passes, and I went backstage. It was pretty cool. I got to see the Presidents of the USA play with Pearl Jam and Heart and Alice in Chains and a bunch of artists. It was amazing.
That's a great concert.
And Tom Skerritt. I met Tom Skerritt. He was the MC for that show. And he was way taller than I imagined. The guy was he's like 6'3". I'm not very tall. I'm like 5'9" or whatever. But I was like, oh, hi. He was up there.
So it's funny you mentioned tall people, because my concert, there's two that come to mind, but one of my concerts that I never would have expected to go to, there was a hip hop boy band from it, called Brockhampton, that were playing it in Atlanta, and I was with my buddy down to do a promotional thing with him, and he's like, hey, let's go to this show. And I had heard about this group, and it was almost a meme. It was hysterical. And I ended up at this show. It was a wild time. The other one that comes to mind, I got to see Yo-Yo.
You didn't mention why the tall person, Liam.
Liam is, excuse me, yes, he's 7 foot tall with Marfan syndrome. He was just on Star Search.
Yeah, he was just on Star Search. He didn't win, but he was on, which is cool. A lot of people lost on Star Search.
He was among the search.
Yes.
Yes, but yeah, the other one, I saw Yo-Yo Ma with the Boston Symphony Orchestra when I was in high school, before I actually wasn't a complete head and would have but I was something in my brain, the school was doing it, something in my head was you should probably go see this. This seems like an opportunity. And I ran with it, and it was pretty neat.
Nice.
I was gonna say so I had a friend in college who helped me once or twice on some papers in desperate times. There was a specific class that I was in one day, and I thought, because my father was an accountant, therefore I shouldn't have to study. Accounting should just be perfect. Why would you have to open a book? I should just know it. And all of a sudden I remember getting this test, and I'm looking at it like, what the F am I stupid? And this guy looked to me and he's like, give me your paper. And at this point, I got a 0 anyways, so I got nothing to lose. I flip him over my paper. He gives me his, turns it in. I get an A on this paper. I'm like, dude, you're the greatest guy in the history of the world. What can I do for you? Anyway, we became friends, and I found out he made his living scalping. So whenever he had
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah, pretty much. That was him and this guy Eric, and if he had extra tickets, he would throw them to me. So I went to see. I'm not a big Loverboy nor Hooters fan, but I saw the Hooters open up for Loverboy, which it was okay. Again, not in a million years would you ever see me buy that ticket, but I did get to go see that, and it was cool. The other ticket that I would have liked to have seen, but just not where I saw it, would have been Santana at the Calderone in Hempstead. Mm-hmm. I had the lightest pigmentation in the entire place, and I stood out with my friend that I was with, very much so. And the gentleman there made us feel about as uncomfortable as you could feel. But Santana was awesome, let me say.
Jesus Christ.
And it was worth going.
Santana's incredible.
It was totally. Yeah, I felt like on Animal House, when they go into
We want to dance with your dates.
dates. Yes, thank God we didn't bring dates.
Man, I have a lot of stories. Been to a lot of shows. I could tell you quite a few, quite a few
Okay.
stories.
So I was gonna say we all have these Spinal Tap moments.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any comedy groups that belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Because there's 3 that come to mind.
Tenacious D.
I didn't even consider that previously. I have to act. You know what? There might be 4, like the ones that come to mind.
Well, we both said something at the same time. Which one are you saying should be it?
So, the 3 initially, the 3 that came to mind. I think Aykroyd and Belushi should be in. I think what the Blues Brothers.
The Blues Brothers, yeah.
It revived. Stevie Ray Vaughan this, Stevie Ray Vaughan that. I'm sorry, that movie came out in 1980 after a run on opening the show up. The 80s blues revival happened as a result of those guys. Mm-hmm. So you could give me all of your Stevie Ray bullshit. Sorry.
What kind of harmonica does Aykroyd play?
He plays the Oscars. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he plays the Oscar.
So number
Even
one.
More reason.
Yeah.
Number one at this
I love
point.
Vodka too.
He's a good play. Like he always ripped on his own playing. It's like, dude, no. Like you listen to those live records, like them. The closing of the Winterland. That first song. Oh, what song was it? But he's wailing, and the guys in the band, by the way. We're not talking about these are no slouches.
No, they're incredible. Honestly, like I have a huge soft spot in my heart for the Blues Brothers. My dad loved the Blues Brothers. I grew up on that stuff. The LPs. I think I blew out at least one of their cassettes. It's a soundtrack. It just.
And everybody was in that movie. Everybody
was. Yeah, everybody loved that. Loved that film. I have great memories of that film.
As do I.
I have both. I think I have both of their albums in my collection, and that's just pure nostalgia. Mac Guitar Murphy, man.
Oh yeah,
a phenomenal play. Half the guys were Booker T and the MGs.
They were incredible.
They absolutely. So like. I'm sorry, I feel like they belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Sure.
The other 2 that came to mind, we had mentioned Spinal Tap. You know what? Not for nothing. The cultural, what they culturally did with music. We call them Spinal Tap moments. It goes to 11. Think about all the quotes in this movie that are such a part of the rock and roll ethos.
Sure.
It's part of it now. And you know what? I would give the award for musical excellence to Weird Al. The dude had major parody hits.
Yeah, I
agree with Weird Al.
I completely agree. Yeah, Weird Al Yankovic.
And then what you made, and the point that you made too.
Cheech and Chong.
Actually, excuse me, Cheech and Chong as well. Like another one, especially going with the Lowrider theme there. How fun would that be? Those guys get in the same year as War.
Comedy acts. I don't know. I sure they got. When I mentioned Tenacious D, I take that from like a more from those guys they're incredible musicians.
They are.
Jack Black is incredibly. I think he's underrated as a singer. Like his range is freaking incredible. That guy can he freaking wails, man. He's
on top of the fact he's one of the great he's one of the great historians of the genre. Not for nothing. Like the man's, continue.
Yeah, I'm a huge Jack Black fan. But Kyle's great too. Tenacious D is great. I don't think they get enough credit. I'd love to see Jack Black actually do some more work with other artists, collaborate, and do some more rock stuff. I think there was talk at one point in time of him doing some work with Jack White.
Oh, wow.
So
Jack Ray.
Black and Jack White would be a pretty incredible.
Call himself the Jack Offs.
I was going to go with Jack Ray, but you know.
talk about an incredible collab. That would be. Anyhow, yeah, I have to throw Tenacious D in the ring for that.
Agreed.
You know, there's, you know, and all through time, there's always been like some of these comedy routines, you know, and this isn't for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or anything, but even like the Marx Brothers, when you think about the musical comedy, or I love
the Smothers Brothers.
Smothers Brothers. How about the Hudson Brothers?
Oh,
Kate Hudson's dad.
Excuse me.
They used to have, you know, a show on TV, the Hudson Brothers. And you know, I know he went off the rail and hasn't lived the greatest life thereof, but they were good. But I'm just saying, you know, look at the I Love Lucy show, Ricky Ricardo. You know, I'm just saying there is a good history with that, with comedy and music combined. I don't necessarily know if it's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or the Movie Hall of Fame or something, but it certainly deserves some kind of recognition through time.
Weird kind of closing Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing, because you made me think with TV shows. I would love to see a new category.
Okay.
Venues. I would love to see some of these really important venues get enshrined into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like, say the Apollo Theater, say, you know, the Paramount, even some of the venues that no longer exist, like the Fillmore.
How about something like the Copacabana?
Highway 99 Blues Club.
Yeah, no, these
R.I.P.
I think some of these places deserve CBGBs. Yeah, like when you think about, you know, there was the in Los Angeles, there was the Chinatown Punk Wars. You had Madame Wong's in the Hong Kong Cafe, like this and you had all these.
I think you have a better shot at opening up a tour bus in New York City and just taking people to where all these places used to be. And seriously,
actually, that's a really good idea. I don't know how much you can get a tour license in New York City. I don't think it's all that hard.
I don't know. I'm just saying it's probably a cool tour. They have that in Chicago. Like, I know that there's the bus tour of all the old blues places in Chicago.
There is.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure it would.
The Ryman.
I'm the Riemann. Sorry. Anything to annoy you.
Well,
by the way, it's 9:28. Speaking of which.
Cool. Then, you know what? I'll start the closeout things. I have for the album of the week, I actually have two for this week. Because I just have a really warped sense of humor. Album number one, I've got this signed copy of "The World Is a Ghetto" by War. You know, we were talking about it. Figured it should be there. And also, first of all, the album itself, phenomenally put. We're talking about a group of guys in their absolute creative prime, putting out culturally relevant and artistically satisfying pieces. Absolute killer record. And then the other one dedicated to Lindsey Vohn's knee, the masterwork, Fragile by Yes.
Which for years was not in the Hall of Fame, which was ridiculous. One of my favorite groups of all time, love Yes, and that it took until like 2 or 3 years ago for them to finally get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was a sin. So I do want to mention it. So I brought some things up from the show. Now, of course, I have a terrible camera here, but you probably can't even see it.
Nope.
We are now authorized dealers of this great company that we found at NAMM called Innova. They're the people, a lot of those guys used to work at the Neutrik company, and they make some of the most amazing XLR cords. and 1/4-inch cords, and I was blown away by the quality when we were there. And the minute we got home, they were one of the first companies we called and said, we'd love to be able to have your stuff. So that was one company. Yeah, some of their product, and again, I feel bad because we're not going to be able to really see a lot of it. The other company that we're now going direct with, which is SE. We just got a whole bunch of shipments in from SE Microphones.
At first, I thought you were saying we got a whole bunch of from them. I was like, if it was, we shouldn't do that.
I didn't say that.
Well, at first, I thought that's what you were saying. And
they have these really cool DI, little small DI boxes in these really neat looking canisters. And then lastly, I didn't.
If you're going for your Steel Panther tribute set.
No, but the last company that, again, we had some access to some of these guys through distributorships, but a few of these guys are going direct now, and we found that out at NAMM. But I'm going to give Corey a complete kudos on this one. You know, he went up to the PV station up on the top floor at NAMM, and I was blown away by their stuff that they have. They're a full line character. They have everything from microphones to amps to guitars. And I sent out today, I think I advertised the HP2, the
guitar there. Yeah, it's.
Oh my God, what a great guitar!
Phenomenal. Check out the Soundtronics too.
Yes, yeah, no. And PV makes some tower amps and speaker systems, and
hey, until he had his own company, that was the amp choice of Eddie Van Halen.
That's true. Yeah.
Not that I'm like the world's biggest Van Halen fan, but like the dude was doing something right.
No, PV has great products, and we have our first order coming in this week. So we're gonna have a whole bunch of new stuff, and I'm super excited about it. But yeah, that's what we're pushing. Corey's taking a few weeks off from the road. It was you know, when you play 200 shows in a year and you're staying in a hotel room 150 nights, you kind of need a break.
This one is thus far costing me a lot less money than the last time I had one of these moments where I was in total just burnout mode. Dmitri, I think I've told you this story when I hadn't had a free weekend from like, you know, March until my birthday weekend, which is the last weekend in October. So played my birthday show, hopped on a flight, and then went down to Orlando and Walt Disney World by myself for 3 days. Because I was like, I can't do this. I was like, I need a few days.
Yeah, for sure.
Doing Disney by yourself, by the way, you spoil yourself.
I think that's the weirdest thing in the world. I can't imagine going anywhere by myself.
I don't think I could do it by myself. It wouldn't be the same.
It's not, but like at the same time, all those things that you secretly don't want to tell people you don't want to do,
you get to do.
Well, yeah, or you don't have
to do all the things you don't want to admit to.
Well, yeah, all the things, exactly. Both ends, both the things that I don't want to waste my time. If I'm by myself, I do not need to do a sit-down lunch at the this and that, whatever. I can go get myself a counter service, cool, whatever, in Epcot and make my way and do whatever the hell I want to do with the day. It was great.
How come when I'm paying for things, we have to go to the nice sit-down dinner at a 5-star restaurant?
You're the common denominator there, sir.
If I said, "Oh, hey, fam, how about we just stand up and go to this place?"
In Disney, you won't see me complain. I want to do stuff.
Yeah, man. It's awesome.
But yeah. Plugs. Dmitri, what would you like to plug?
What do I want to plug?
You're allowed to plug anything. Anything you want.
I spent half of this episode plugging
Oscar.
What about you?
Like,
any closing messages, life plugs, advice plugs,
hair
plugs.
Are you kidding me? This thing is working now.
Yeah, your camera's working now.
Are you freaking kidding me? that happen. The whole show, the thing doesn't work. Corey, you screwed with me. It's all you, dude.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I that was all me.
I don't know, man. Yeah, it's something going on there. For sure. Like, I don't know if it was just out of focus or if it was
That's just
something
ridiculous.
on the lens, or Corey, were you never
I swear to God. I swear to. Was it when you hit the desk?
Maybe.
I guess. I don't know, but there I am. Now you can see me.
Oh.
Wow.
Anyway, last chance for all other than the only big gig we have this month is we're going to be at the Matterhorn again up at Stowe. For those of you who have been seeing all the videos from Stowe, it was wall to wall. You could not move. There were hundreds of people there, more bachelorette parties than can possibly people believe that could be in one place at the same time. Stowe, the Matterhorn, just a phenomenal place. Burlington's pretty fun, and at that period of time, it is always very cold, and there's always a lot of snow. So coming back from Newport,
Beach,
California, at 70 degrees, going whale watching and actually seeing whales,
that was sick.
which was really cool. We came back, and 2 days later, we were in the frozen tundra of Stowe, Vermont.
Yeah.
Hence, I feel the way that I do.
Oh, I feel like crap.
I mean, wasn't nearly as cold here in BC. I'm in outside Vancouver,
Right.
But it's wet, like wet. And we came from basically like, you're in paradise, and then you fly 6-7 hours, and then you're in a monsoon for like 4 days. It sucked.
Oh,
It was just wet and cold, and it was no fun.
And
But
double the
nothing
flight getting back.
Nothing like what you guys had to deal with, I'm sure. Like,
yeah, and it has happened. We haven't had like one of these winters in a real long time, but we're gonna have one of those 100+ inch snow years in Avon, Connecticut. We have 20-something inches on the ground right now. It is frozen. I literally this week had to pay guys to come up on our roof twice already to get rid of the ice dams and get the snow off the roof and off the
You got solar, don't you? Right?
Yeah.
I'm sure it probably has a negative impact on your solar. So
yeah, so it's killing me. I've been having
the roof is protected.
Yeah, but no, I literally paid the guys to come up there. Like, it was $500 the first day to have them get all the snow off the solar panels, and then the next day I had to have them come for $350 more to break up some of the ice dams because water started leaking in through Corey's
Yay!
roof.
All of my entire beautiful stereo system and everything is.
But it's all good. But yeah, we've got one of it's been a long time. You live in New England, you have some of those days.
Get used to it.
British Columbia, I'm sure you have the same kind of every once in a while.
It's like every 5 or 6 years or so we get quite a bit of snow, and then it just usually it's gone by this time of year, but sometimes it hangs around.
Yeah, it's this one. I think we're gonna have it till March. I don't think it's going anywhere. It's really nasty.
I'm going above the border in March.
Are you?
I am. I'm going to Ottawa. I'm going to see the Islanders play the Senators.
Oh, okay, cool.
Third row tickets. Pretty hyped. Doing a few days in the nation's capital. Going to see, seeing the seat of government there. Making it happen.
It's pretty cool. I mean,
I know it's not the most exciting city in the world. I've been told
Ottawa.
It's like,
I mean, it's Ottawa's hype.
Listen, I'm here for it. I want it to be hype.
In the summertime, it's cooler with the boat races, the speedboat.
Yeah,
race.
I'm sure.
And you get to see the changing of the guard, right?
I'm very excited. I think the Canadian capital. It's a beautiful building. I know they're renovating everything right now.
I haven't had the pleasure yet.
What's the Chateau Le Maire or Chateau the beautiful hotel which is right next to Parliament, which I stayed at as a kid.
Oh,
I was like,
yeah.
all the all the Fairmont properties in Canada are magnificent. And I just remember going into Ottawa with my parents, and I'm like, wow, this is the coolest looking place I've ever seen. And I'm like, who gets to stay there? And my father's like, you do. We're staying here for this. I was like,
Nice.
dude, that's awesome. So, yeah, I've told this on the show a few times, and I know we got to get off in a few seconds, but my dad, on the way to wherever we went, we stayed at a dump. We stayed at the Days Inn, okay? But once we got to the ultimate place, we stayed at a 5-star, whether it was the Four Seasons in Toronto or the Fairmont or the Queen Elizabeth. We stayed at the Ritz-Carlton in Montreal. We stayed at the 5-star magnificent place. On the way to wherever we went, we're lucky we're still alive.
Motel 6, like saving the budget for the end of the final destination.
Oh my God! Some of the I want to forget about. I almost got bit by a rattlesnake outside in Arizona the one time.
Stories. The balls can talk, right?
But all right, Corey, it's 9:41. We have to end this.
All right. With that in mind, thank you, everybody. Donate to your local food bank and enjoy every sandwich. We will see you next week when we talk about, I don't know, something. Good night.